All right, all right. We are live. I see some people hanging out here already. Hello, welcome. Got Real Enigmas hopping on in just a moment. Before we get there, why don't you type in the comments? Tell us where you're coming from. Tell us what's for dinner. Tell us what you're excited to talk about today. So shout out. We got Cracker Jack in there. I see Rock Road, Sylvain, Fat Rodents, Aaron, Laura, Dawn. We got Real, Iron Man, Debbie, Mr. Vaca. What's for dinner? Scotty Saturn. Hello, hello. Are we eating waffles today? Waffles for dinner? How are we doing? Just a few weeks ago, we were all here on Thursday nights watching Severance, and look at us now. Now we're just watching each other talk about Severance. Hi, Michael. Hi, Mickey B. We got Steve in here. We got lots of friends joining. Hello, welcome, everyone. Really excited to have our special guest on today, Real Enigmas and Theories. He is one of the GOATs, able to talk about Severance-related things, the esoteric, in ways that many of us don't even know how to wrap our brains around. So super, super excited. I know he has a lot of really cool things to share. All right, we got Joy Vive. We got Steve. I don't know what to do on Thursdays either. I have been working on my season 1 rewatch. So if you'd like to join along, head over to my Discord, Patreon. We'll be doing season 1 rewatches, and then maybe even have some live discussions about it. So it doesn't feel like Severance is ever ending. Okay, I forgot to get some music going. So let me get some background music on, and then we're going to let our special guest in and hang out and chat all things Severance. All right, let's get some nice music going. Get back to your comments. Is the season 3 premiere on tonight, Michael? I sure wish it was. I would pay money for that to see a season 3. What's up, Groucho? All right, everyone hit that like button. Go subscribe to Real if you haven't already. I'm gonna go ahead and let him in. DVD Mon. We got Christian, unpronounceable. Hi, hello, welcome. Tell us what's for dinner. Tell us where you're coming in from. All right. Let's get our guest of the hour in. Real Enigmas and Theories, welcome to the show. How's it going?
What's going on, Gab? How are you?
I am great. I'm so happy to be talking to you again. We had such a great first chat a few weeks ago, and I've been wanting to talk again ever since. I feel like we got our minds blown last time we talked, which was amazing.
Yes, that's always amazing to have that kind of feeling, for sure. Especially when it's in such a good way with a show like Severance. Like, you can't beat the vibes. It feels crispy clean to be here on a Thursday night like this. Like, I mean,
it just feels right.
It just feels right, because this is around the time we would do the pre-games for Severance anyway. Like, and we'd be rocking on until 9 o'clock and stuff like that. This is we need this. I call
I love that. I love the wellness sessions. Now, just before we really dive in, I'm curious for you, when you're watching Severance, I know you host a pre-show live and then you watch, and then sometimes you do a post-show live as well during the on season, right? Or mostly just a pre. Okay. So at what point do you create the videos? Is that all day Friday or Saturday, or how does your schedule normally work? Because you get them out pretty quickly.
You know, it's funny. I don't feel like I get them out quickly. I feel like I'm behind. I see everybody else popping out, and I'm like, man, I can't watch it yet. I want to wait till I get mine done, and then I can watch everybody else's stuff. And I have a confession. Like, I've told people this before, but I write raps for my scripts, right?
That's so cool.
So, but then I take like out the rhyming words, because sometimes I just put them in there and they don't even make any sense with what I'm saying. I just put it in there so that I can get my cadence together. And
love that.
It's kind of crazy because first I have to write all of my notes and get my thoughts together, and then figure
Mhm.
out where I'm going to start, where I'm going to put what points that I want to make, how I'm going to connect them together. And
Yeah.
then that's really the hump that I have to get over, is like, where am I going to start? What am I going to talk about first? And how am I going to do this? And that's why a joke usually comes in the beginning of my video, because I'm trying to break the ice for myself, and
Yeah.
and then I get cooking. And so that's kind of like my
Yeah.
process. Notes, jokes, raps. And now
Love
and then
that.
every other YouTuber knows the rest, like editing and shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's fascinating to hear. Always love hearing about people's process, especially because you have the best jokes and you have the best names for people. So it's like, do you normally think of that like the evil Hodor or uh what do you call Dr. Bauer?
Dr.
Peabody,
Peabody.
Dr. Peabody. Do you think about that as you're watching it, or is it more when you're writing it? You're like,
Nah,
this
that's right as
motherfucker,
I'm
like,
watching it. Like the first those are like my first thoughts. Like my jokes
okay.
are like my first thoughts. Actually, my jokes are like my first notes, because I go
Okay.
through the show and a lot of times I'm laughing about shit. You know what I'm saying? Um
Yeah.
I know everybody feels that way, like when we saw him say Gretchen, like when we saw
Mhm.
Dylan say Gretchen. That's how I am during the whole show, watching the show. I'm laughing at like every little piece. Like everyone
Yeah.
laughed at Dylan screaming Gretchen. But that's where I'm at first. Is like when you hear Evil Hodor, like that's literally what I thought the very first time I saw Drummond, for sure.
Well, that's a name that has lived in infamy on YouTube, especially since he did indeed hold the door open for them on the elevator. When I saw that, I'm like, oh, Reels he's onto something. He knows something we don't. He sees the vision, the long-term
Oh,
thing that they're gonna do.
and then how about Severance got a Peabody Award?
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
Yeah.
I swear
with,
you're psychic.
with the Dr. Peabody. That was hilarious.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
oh, wait a minute though. Here, that leads me to another one. My fathead Muppet joke, right? That wasn't
Oh
really a
yeah.
joke. I thought he literally called her that at first.
Fathead Muppet.
Yeah. So
That's a
then
funny insult.
but there's so many Muppet connections. Have you seen any of my live streams where we talked about the Muppets yet?
I don't think so. Tell us, enlighten us. What's the Muppet connection?
Okay, so the brother exists who goes by the name Rick Rock, came to the channel with this theory, and
Okay.
he's opened our eyes to so many different things about the Muppets that you can find in Severance. And the funniest thing
Wow.
is that Mark Geller, who plays Keir, who is the likeness of Keir,
Mm,
when he first started his acting career, he worked as the front deskman for the Muppets.
no way.
Yeah, he literally worked for the Muppets, and he pretty much was like the phone voiceover guy. Like, you know how the companies have like this voice that answers the phone. That's
Yeah.
what he was. They liked his voice, and he got hired as that and the receptionist. He was the front desk receptionist for the
Wow.
Muppets, which is so crazy, and that added so much depth to that theory. I have a video coming out on my own Muppet theory based on what the
Okay.
brother has like enlightened us with.
Wow. That's crazy. So it's been about, I don't know, a few weeks or a month since Severance has ended. I think a few weeks. I don't know I don't know what time is anymore. How have you been feeling since the finale? Have some crazy thoughts come to you? Anything you just like can't let go of, or any big mysteries for you?
Yes, I talked about that last night. Hey puppy, what you doing back there? You okay? What you want a snack? No, right? So, all right, so we talked about this a little bit last night. I did a 4-hour live stream last night, and I started
And
at
it was
midnight.
early in the morning. I saw it was streamed like 13 hours ago. You were up to like 5 a.m. your time, weren't you?
Yeah, I was up to like
That's
4:30, well, on
crazy.
stream until like 4:30 in the morning. I enjoyed myself. I had an eventful day and I just needed a wellness session. And so we hung out for a long time. That stream is a doozy. I gotta tell you guys, if you're going to rewatch it now, YouTube has clipped out portions of it because of copyright stuff. Which is crazy because it's Severance and I never really got copyright strikes from them like that.
Hmm.
But they clipped out some of the video. So
They're
but
trying to
it's a really
silence you.
that's crazy, but I definitely downloaded it beforehand, and I'm gonna try to upload it onto Patreon or something like that. Start doing
Amazing.
stuff like that. But we talked
Yeah.
about a couple of things. One of them was something that has definitely been bothering me is the unresolved Irving and Burt thing.
Hmm.
With them spending so much time on his character with episode 4, then we got the dinner episode. I believe that was episode 5.
Right.
Then we got episode 9 was when
That was the
you know,
train ride.
right, the train ride. I just feel
Yeah.
like with the time that they spent on his story, that it was unresolved, and a character like Irv shouldn't be seen his last moments hopping on a train with a dog.
Never. Yeah. Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
that's
I think
just not right.
looking back, I feel like 9 was my least favorite episode, even though that was the one that made me sob um in one of my videos. I was very sad about the Irv and Burt thing, but now looking back, I'm like, what is this? I agree with you, Mr. Vaca. I don't think it's the end for Irv, and I really hope we even start with him, because that can't be the end. If that's the end, I'll be so disappointed. And I feel like we almost need to know a little bit more about Burt too, because how can he save Irv without Lumen knowing that he didn't accomplish like whatever he was supposed to accomplish? Because he was just the guy who drove people places. So we presume that he had a errand to run, which was to take Irv somewhere, and it seemed like he was coordinating that directly with Helena. So I'm sure she'll be asking about that or want to know where he took him.
Yeah, I mean, why does Burt have a change of heart if
Yeah.
he's truly severed and his innie was the one dealing with Irv and his innie was the one in love with Irv? How does he go from stalking Burt, setting him up at the dinner meeting so Evil Hodor can go through his stuff at his apartment, and
Yeah.
then breaking into his apartment in the morning and sitting there reading his stuff, and all of a sudden now I want to just let you go. I'm in love with you and I want to let you go. Like,
Yeah. And
what?
I imagine even Burt doing that would put himself and his husband Fields like also at risk. So you have to really love someone. And before you were like orchestrating their downfall, letting Lumen into their house, orchestrating the dinner party, being weird and creepy. So it's weird that Burt suddenly gained a conscience when it doesn't feel like he's had one at all on the outside all along.
And the same for Irv. How do you go from spying on this guy, being on the telephone secretly with somebody twice, catching this guy spying on you, playing possum at the dinner, and then all of a sudden and then catching this guy in your apartment in the morning, reading your stuff, pretty much hypnotized your dog, you know,
And basically told him like, I was you're right. Like, I mean, when Irv says, "Oh, I was wrong. I used to think that about you, but I was wrong." I'm like, he has to be bluffing here because Irv is a very smart, cunning. He's like an investigator. So there's no way that he would be like, "Oh no, I had dinner with you. You're good. I don't believe that. You're not gonna hurt me." Like,
yeah,
I thought why was he so resigned to just going to his death?
Well, he sits
Presumably.
there and he tells him, he says, I thought you were with them, but now I know that that's not true. And then Burt
Yeah.
reveals that he is indeed with Lumen. And
He's like, that is true.
and then he just has this, well, I love you. And why don't you come with me? Let's get on the train together with my dog. And,
Yeah.
you know, like, where does that change of heart come in from? Again, if your innie is the one who was in love with this guy, like, if it was your innie, you know, and I've had suspicions that Irv is possibly reintegrated or some form of it, maybe, especially with knowing he's working with someone else, possibly Reigabi, possibly someone that is actually has a united front of people that are against Lumen.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's trying an alternate form of reintegration. I thought, like, when he was first on the phone, he was like, I know you don't want to talk to me. And I think it may have been Reigabi, because she wants to reintegrate him medically and he doesn't want that, but he's figured out a way to get his message to an innie. One thing John says that I want to highlight here that I agree with: does anyone else think it's weird that we only heard about the train during the dinner when Burt and Fields were discussing taking it to church and when? Yeah, I think Real, you and I talked about this in a live stream or chatted about this even before, where it's like, you know, what the religion of Kier, PE, seems to be like Kier, like with the whole goats thing, with the afterlife, like it seems like he is the religion, but then they're talking about being Lutheran, but then they had to take a train to church. So it almost makes me feel like Kier is this isolated place where there's no religion other than the religion of Kier or something. And yeah, that we only saw trains mentioned in these two contexts. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Just seeing the train, just hearing about the train from Fields and Burt, and then seeing him take him to the train. I don't know. There's definitely some sort of mystery there. Another thing that I thought of, there was a theory out there that Irv may have been the artist who is responsible for the paintings that we see on the severed floor.
Oh,
and there was something
interesting,
very strange about this last painting, the Mark painting with all of the characters on it. The Woe character was depicted in two different ways. And let me see if I can go ahead. Go.
There we go.
What you got? Okay, yes. All right. So where'd you get that version from?
I think I saw this on Reddit.
Okay.
I just Googled it and this came up.
Oh, wow. Okay. Do you see Woe in there?
Yeah, back here. I don't know if I can zoom in.
In the scene where scene where they first show us Woe. Hold on, let me see. Oh, it's in my screenshots. Okay, hold on. Okay. So now you're showing me like a third way that they're depicting this. Let's see if I can share my screen.
Oh, is this slightly different?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Do you want to share that image that you're looking at? Okay, let's see.
Right here.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
Ooh, creepy.
Right. Now this is the depiction as Mark gets off the elevator. And this, now look at this depiction.
Oh, whoa. Where did this change?
It changed. Both of the pictures that I just showed you are like from the same scene. And the first
Weird.
the first one you see this, and then the next one you see this.
I feel like this is the one I remember from at least when I glanced at it, but that's weird.
Yes. And the only person that would have Hey, Steve Lovelace says, "Whoa, whoa!" That's exactly what I said last night. Like, because that's what that's what came to my mind. Like, whoa, look at whoa, and you
Because
have
that is the woe that Irving
Irv
saw.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so
Whoa.
now the question would be, if he is the paint. Now, here was the other part. This depiction of Miss Casey looks a lot like the art style that Irv used to draw Miss Casey for the missing posters.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the same art style,
Absolutely.
okay?
That's
And,
so true.
and also, this is the art style that was used to draw Burt
Oh,
in the
you're so
pictures that
right.
he was showing Felicia.
Yeah.
It's just a
Wow.
it's just a color rendered version of that. And
Whoa.
so there's a theory that and I never really bought the theory. I was like, I love all theories, but I was just like, that doesn't sound like, just because Irv was painting doesn't mean that he painted these pictures that we
Yeah.
see on the severed floor. But now with
Yeah.
this, and then the question would be, when would he have done this? If
Yeah.
if he's
Because he
gone,
would have had to meet all these people or at least get direction for this.
right, or no, or someone would have had to have had the knowledge that all of these characters were going to come into play.
Right.
I mean, this is a
Right.
company that can whip up a 5-minute stop motion, very detailed, in 48 hours. So,
Yeah. And also, like, this is the Ortbo experience. It's almost looking out from Woe, like it's looking into Woe's hollow, almost like from the cave. You see the waterfall, the frozen, the pond that everybody is
again,
standing in.
something from Irv's dream.
Yeah.
Again,
That was
this desk.
Yeah.
No, the how he had the desk outside in that wilderness.
Yeah.
He's
Wow.
also who got in the water and put her down in the water. He's
Yeah.
it's just, I don't know. It's like, okay, so it would say, the question would be, when did he do this? And that
Yeah.
leads to I'm doing a video about it, and it leads to my answer. My answer is pretty much going to be that Lumen has been pulling the strings the entire time, making all of the events happen with everybody, with
Ooh.
Cobell, everything.
That would be so crazy.
There's evidence for that as well, because in episode 7, we have the crib box that is encoded with Cold Harbor.
Yeah.
Right? So that means that the crib box had Cold Harbor on it before Mark was even severed, before Gemma was even missing. You know what I'm saying? During the course of their marriage at the very earliest.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow.
So,
and
some strings are being pulled. Then you have, man, I'm spilling the whole video, but I don't care. I'm gonna put it together anyway, right? So
it's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. So the other thing is, if Lumen is pulling the strings, when you look at that stop motion animation, it showed Mark and Helly in the control room. And how would they have known that? Right? So obviously they have been knowing and looking and watching. And also in episode 7, we learn that they've been watching the refiners' every move.
Yeah.
So why didn't anybody tell Cobell and Milchick that the refiners were planning on doing the OTC?
Yeah. Wow.
Why didn't they stop it? Why didn't they try to stop it from happening? In fact, they get rid of the only person that probably would have been able to stop it, which was Cobell.
Yeah, that's so true.
Cobell was on her shit. You say what you want about Cobell. When she was on that severed floor, she was a good ass manager. She was on point.
Yeah, she got things done.
Shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And as soon as they get rid of her, that's when all the shit hits the fan. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, wow. That's crazy. And one thing that John said here is the woe in the first painting looks like the one from the waffle party, and the second looks like the illustration in the fourth appendix or Irv's dream. Yeah, because like we've never seen woe glowing like that at all, like she did in the dream. So that's crazy. I'm gonna have to rewatch and see when this shift happened.
It happens as soon as he gets off the elevator when he says,
Weird.
after he pretty much Snapchats back and forth with his Audi, and like, he hops on, he walks out the door, and he wakes up in the elevator. And,
Yeah. Okay.
and
Wow.
these and the others, I mean, the four tempers pretty much look just like the ones from the waffle party, like he's saying, like John was saying, right? And you have why make this change is the question, because you go.
I feel like it's a hint.
Yeah, it's gotta be. So what are your
It
thoughts?
has to be a hint.
Like, what is that? What does that get you thinking?
If anything, it just makes me think that this is a very subtle hint that they put in to lead us to this idea that Irving did the paintings. Because I think everything you pointed out about Miss Casey, about Burt, it looks like Irving's style. We know that he's the best artist. They've made a point in showing us like what an important and great artist he is. So I feel like it's an Easter egg, but that would mean that Irving is like working with Lumen and against Lumen at the same time. Like, I wonder if he's like a Severus Snape type of character where the Resistance thinks he's working with them, Lumen thinks he's working with them. I don't know. It's crazy. But that's pretty mind-blowing.
And one thing, like what you just said, brings to my mind, one thing that we do know is that the chips are not only bifurcated, right?
Yeah.
They can be trifurcated, and
yeah,
you can get 10 innies out of one chip. Like,
right.
What, is there an actual Lumen operative inside of Irv's chip?
Ooh, like a true Glockstupen inside of his chip.
Yes.
That would be crazy. Yeah. Okay, we have a couple interesting comments here. One person asks why Real Enigmas doesn't show his face. And then Mr. Vaca asks if you're secretly Mr. Milkshake Undercover. Do you can you confirm or deny that?
I am the real Enigma. I'm the real
He's
Enigma.
too mysterious. He can't, they're going to be after him because he dropped some truth bombs. So he can't show his face for his own protection.
Yeah, I kind of chill out. I like more privacy. You know what I'm saying?
That's understandable.
I still like to have fun with this thing though,
Yeah, 100%. John says, I think something significant happened at the site of that waterfall and it's not the Dieter story. Yeah, I could see that. It is the largest waterfall in the world. So
John
it's got to be something.
John definitely is cooking with that.
John Cook is cooking.
Yeah, John Cook is definitely cooking with the something significant happening at that waterfall. Especially that's where isn't that where they run into the seal?
I don't know. I thought that was kind of in the water, like that lake area. Not necessarily okay. I think it's close. Yeah, I think it's close. I think that's the last thing they find until they make it to the waterfall. But one interesting thing that John said here is that, Helena stares at it longingly, like with reverence. But then on the other hand, she thinks, I think she genuinely thinks the Dieter story is stupid. Like, I don't think she was acting. I think she's like, this is what you're telling these innies. Like, this is crazy. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So that but this area still really means something to her. Like when she was staring at it, it felt like, she was feeling connected to her lineage in a way.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, we're okay. So
right before Irv snuck up on her, she was leaning against the tree and kind of just staring at it, got up early out of the tent and everything. So it seems like she believes in this area.
Right.
Like maybe it's significant for another reason.
Right. Do you think they were outside?
Ah, yes, I do. I do.
Okay, give me the
I
evidence.
wanted them to be outside, but then I don't know, because I like when you think about PD's map and the fact that he had something labeled with team building, I think that they could have been in a simulation, or they could have been in a simulation that had real risks and dangers, because the question is like, why would you be freaking out that he's actually drowning Helena Egan if it was a simulation and you could like turn off the water or like change it? So it would either have to be actually outside where those dangers are real, or inside where those dangers are real, because they were freaking out.
It could be like a movie set, like with
Oh
real
yeah.
water and everything. But how do we explain those MDR twins just popping out of nowhere with no feet? How do we explain Irv not waking up with hypothermia? You know what I'm saying?
That's fair. I mean, because they had to give the illusion, like, I still think they had to make it somewhat cold, or, they had to do something to make them feel like it had to be pretty convincing, probably. Like, they couldn't just be seeing everything but not be cold. So they probably had some environmental elements, like real water, real snow, real ice or something.
Right. Also, where did the VCR and stuff come from? The DVD player and TV just popped out of nowhere.
That's true.
How are they doing these things out? So I think that it's inside the team building, kind of similar to how we seen on the testing floor, where they had a whole room with a airplane simulation.
Yeah. I think that was a hint. They could do that. Like they could, like that the pressure was probably different. The motion, it probably felt like a real airplane ride.
Right. Like, what would the team building place be for then on PD's
right
map,
Yeah.
And it seemed to be like a large chunk that was totally away from MDR, O&D, the wellness room. It was on the other side of the perpetuity wing. Like, I think they might have deeper levels of Lumen to a whole different level than you would never even imagine. Even Helly and Mark joked about a building being so big that it became a country.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I watched this in an interview with Dan Erickson, like after season 1, where he was saying that Lumen has like a whole tunnel system under it, or it's like there's as big as a city underneath the building. And I think that's going to be one of the main things that they explore in season 3, is like the innies are going to hold the severed floor and go deeper and farther within Lumen. And I think we'll see like just how much is under there. Like they might have their own society trapped under there, like on PD's map, the people who never leave.
Yeah, and he had like a bunch of houses and stuff in that part, with like he circled a bunch of houses and said these people never leave. And we technically have not seen Milchick go anywhere. Like, he's like a yo-yo. He went out to Mark's house and came right back. He went out to Dylan's and Irv's and came right back to Lumen. Like, we have not seen.
I would like to know what he's doing. Yeah, I would like to know what he's doing on his days off when he's not riding his motorcycle around.
Does he really? Like, he doesn't even seem like he has any days off. And also, they kept him due to his loyalty to the company, or what was the reason that they said they were going to keep him instead of firing him?
After the Ortbo, or like after Cobell?
When he got that performance evaluation, they said they were keeping him because he was something. I can't remember how they exactly worded it, but they kept him. It seemed like, this guy never leaves or something. Like his devotion. Yeah. They touted his devotion and said that was why they were keeping him.
Absolutely.
We saw Cobell go home. We saw everybody go home except for Helly. Well, we seen Helly at her father's home. So
she went home.
Everybody go home. We've even
seen Burt except Milchick.
Yeah, everyone but Milchick. Is he
I put
because if Petey, if this place where people never leave is on Petey's map, then that would indicate that he's not talking about the testing floor.
Yeah. One thing Dylan G just said is, why would Drummond call it an outdoor event in Milkshake's performance review? So that is an interesting way of thinking about it, unless that's just what they call simulations.
Well, yeah, he said he didn't say he said an outdoor retreat, I believe. So he was pretty much speaking with the acronym ORTBA, like, and even in when Milchick is going over his evaluation on paper, it doesn't specify if it's actually outside either. But here's the catcher, right? In the birthing cabin, Cobell tells Mark that his chip is only tuned to the severed floor.
Yeah.
Right? And
that's what Reigabi thought as well.
Right. But they were able to wake him up in the birthing cabin. But that's because Miss Cobell gave instructions to the security person with that Twilight Zone phrase. She said something with that Twilight Zone phrase that would enable them to wake up Mark's innie. And so it has to be a blanket terminology, because the security woman had no idea that Mark was in the truck with them. You see?
Right.
So
Yeah.
now add that with this. If Mark's chip is tuned to the severed floor and Dylan, Irv, and Mark were their innies on the ORTBA, then why would they need a Glasgow block to bring Helena down to be with the innie? The only answer for that is it's because they're on the severed floor. Because if they were really outside, Helena wouldn't need the Glasgow block protocol in order to be Helena. She would, if they were really outside, she wouldn't need the Glasgow block, right?
Right.
Because why would she?
But okay. Because in season 1 during the OTC, did Dylan, I don't remember, did Dylan have to just flick one thing for the OTC? Or I guess you have to turn it on individually. That's true. Because when Milkshake just turned on Dylan's, it's not like one switch turns on everybody. You probably have to turn on the OTC for each individual person. So they would have had to turn on the OTC for each innie. In that case, they wouldn't have needed to do Helena's. So that's actually a great point. That's a great point.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, what he did was he selected their outies. He selects Irv, he selects Helly, and he selects Mark. And then once he holds both of those switches and turns those switches on, the ones that he selected get the OTC. So if they were really outside, then you would use the OTC on Mark, Irv, and Dylan.
Yeah, you could manually do it. You wouldn't need a Glasgow block for Helena.
Right. The only reason why you would need a Glasgow block is if you wanted to get somebody's outie to go to the severed
to go
floor.
Inside. Yes, because actually if not, he could have just said, do the OTC, like initiate the OTC on Helena, turn her to Helly, rather than the Glasgow block. It would be turning something on. So that's actually convincing me.
Right.
Like that a lot.
Right there, I mean, they kind of give us the answer, but they don't. They let it linger. I hope they address that in season 3.
I feel like the ORTBA was so random and weird and like fever dream that it just, I feel like it almost had to be all inside, especially if they do have tunnels and cities, like a building so big it's a city, like they said.
Yes. What are some things that you feel like should have been resolved in this season that weren't resolved? Other
Good
than we already
question.
said Irving and Burt, so what else?
I think we needed more context on why Gemma like went to, or on if she was kidnapped, or the thing about her death. I think like that would have been really easy for Cobell to answer. Like she could have answered it in the same sentence that she told Mark about Cold Harbor.
I
And
agree.
same thing about like why even Cold Harbor? Like, is this they're trying to do Severance as a service? They're, what are they trying to do? I mean, maybe that is the grandest mystery, so we can't know, but they could have at least told us how Gemma got down there.
I agree. However, I will give them a pass for that one because of the way they set the season finale really sets that up for them to make that a major point in season 3. So
Yeah,
I
like we
can
could have
give them,
flashbacks on it and everything.
oh man, yeah, they can really go crazy, especially with her screaming and crying at the door like that. Like we can really go in and see, because think about it like this. We know that Mark has made a choice to stay down there.
Yeah.
Was it Gemma's choice to go down there?
Yeah.
I mean, she was going to play charades. Could her death have been all a charade?
And she pretty much did go play charades. She was playing a bunch of different people.
Whoa.
She was playing all the characters.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not sure. That one right there is definitely one, but I do like the way they set it up. Like the way they set it up. I feel like we got a lot more Reigabi this season, but I feel like we really don't know much about her.
Yeah, I wish we would have known a little bit more about, even just like, if we can't know her grand plan, even just her time at Lumen or why she broke away, because they have to bring her back. If that's the end of her character, I'll legitimately be disappointed if she never comes back, if she just packed up her shit and left.
Yes. And it seems like her time at Lumen ended when she reintegrated Pete. Because whatever she did to him was able to be traced back to her work terminal.
Yeah, and why would they also... You'd think anyone who's ever worked at Lumen in that capacity would be monitored, because she knows some pretty sensitive things. Like, she knows a lot. Where they can't have too many disgruntled employees who know their secrets just running around. Like, that feels like they would either put you in another department like they tried to do with Cobell, or they would literally like kill you. Like if you walk away knowing all the secrets.
Okay, so all right. So I've always said this. When you're terminated from Lumen, your life is in danger.
Yeah.
I don't feel like Lumen is just letting you go and you're just about to go just live your life now.
They're either keeping tabs on you at all times or they're taking you out. So the fact that she's able to just run around makes me wonder that has she faked her own death or something, or what's going on with her.
Ooh, and Reigabi is the only one not in the painting. Saffron.
Ooh.
Yeah,
we got lots of good comments here.
Yes.
Let me
sure, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, finish that thought, and then I'm gonna put some of these comments up here.
Oh, yeah, run through the comments. I want to get a couple thoughts together, actually. I
All
want to
right,
hear
cool.
what some of the people are saying.
Yeah, let's see what you guys think. So we got Roll Cake saying, you know what I was thinking? I think there's like a resetting any command in the security room. Why didn't they just reboot Helly when she started to rebel? Maybe her new version would have complied. So that is very interesting. And I actually think this, when I rewatched episode 1, the way Helly is acting from the beginning seems abnormal. Like she's like banging on the walls. Irving is scared. Even Milchick goes into Cobell's office and is like, "Are you seeing this? Should we do something?" So we get this feeling that her reaction, even though Mark says he threatened to like kill someone, that her reaction of violence is slightly abnormal. So I almost wonder if that is part of what they're doing with Gemma, is to actually filter out their tempers before they go into the room, to be more docile. Because when Gemma wakes up in that crib room, which is essentially just like Helly waking up on the table, she's very cautious, but she listens to what she's told to do. They say, take apart the crib. She does that. Even the girl who's been to the dentist a million times still sits down and opens wide. So part of me thinks that they're trying to put these innies through hell, through horrible situations, but they obey. They obey a lot better than the innies that have been like gone to the severed floor. So I don't know. There could be a reset, or that's something that they're actually trying to work towards, someone who will comply easier.
Right. Okay. My thing about it is I've always felt like Helly's intake procedure was tampered with.
By Lumen or because Mark messed it up.
Well, it was actually tampered with before that. I don't know if it was Cobell or Milchick, or it could have been. I brought this up to the guy Rick Rock, who had the Muppet theory, and he said it could have been Petey, which is very interesting as well. I'm looking for. I actually have the clip of where. Here it is. Hold on, let me share something different here. This was done to her intake. Okay, the word last was crossed out and replaced with the word final, which is, these words are used interchangeably for the most part, but they definitely mean a total different thing. Like the last would be the latest. Final would be the ending.
Final.
Right?
Yeah.
The finale. You know what I'm saying? So this right here definitely indicates some tampering, because why would that be crossed out and rewritten in there?
Yeah, interesting.
And this intake preamble was worded specifically for the innie's intake.
Yeah, it was very procedural, very specific.
Right. And this is is obviously important because Reigabi does the same thing as an intake process when she's reintegrating Mark. She's asking him questions, just like, the 5 questions you get when you wake up on the table.
Yeah.
She asked him about his mother. She asked him about when was the first time you felt this. And it was almost like a reversal. You're asking a person that knows the answers.
Right.
And in this preamble, you're asking the person that doesn't know these answers.
Ooh.
And when they get these answers wrong or they don't know, they get a perfect score.
Yeah.
So this preamble is important, and them changing it definitely says that Helly's intake procedure was supposed to do something. And I'm thinking that it's Cobell, but it could have also been Milchick.
Yeah.
I think it was Cobell.
I think it would be Cobell. I think Cobell hates Helena. She hates Helena because Helena has gotten by birth and privilege what Cobell has worked for her whole life. And so I do think she hates her,
Mm.
actually.
Now, let me ask you a question. This is a good question that you say that. Do you think Helena knows that Cobell is the originator of the Severance chip? And do you think Milchick knows too? Because he was like, see, this means that the chips work. Like trying to reassure her that her technology is the bomb, you know?
Ooh, yeah. I see. Okay. Cause at first I thought like nobody knows except for James because he stole it from her and is like, Kira's knowledge is for all. But then when Cobell and Grainer are talking together and Grainer says, oh, look, it's Petey. And he's been reintegrated and Cobell, and he says, you should celebrate. It seems like he's talking directly to Cobell. So like logically, I would think that not a lot of people know, but then there has been evidence to show that like some people do know, but I don't know. I think like Helena Egan, it's pretty bold of her to say to Cobell, like, I think you're underestimating your contributions when her contribution is the whole thing. Like that is the thing. So I don't know. What do you think? Can you guys hear me? Do you think that she knows or not?
I have muted my mic while
you're
you
fine.
were talking. I'm sorry. Now,
you're totally fine.
Okay, so my thoughts is I think that Helena knows. Now,
okay.
Before the season started, we got that trailer. Okay, and in the trailer, would you happen to have the first trailer?
I don't. I could pull it up, and I could probably download it and pull it up.
Okay, if you could work
Let's
on
see.
that. Yeah, if you could find that.
And are you talking about the teaser trailer, like the very first one?
No,
like it was 1 minute.
The new trailer that we had like before the season started, like the last one that we got.
Okay, let me see if I can get that up.
Okay, in that trailer, Cobell says when they're sitting at the table after the OTC. That would be what we saw in episode 2 when they were sitting at the table talking to Cobell. They were thanking her for stopping that situation and they offering her the job. In the trailer, it's where the part where Cobell says, "You fear me?"
Yeah.
In the trailer she says, "You fear them."
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, and in the trailer, another thing about the trailer is there was a teaser or something for episode. I've seen it maybe around episode 6. There was a teaser that came out for the rest of like the mid-season teaser or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And there was an animatronic Kier sitting in James' little desk, his little jerk box.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
And it turns its head, and we never got to see that in the show.
Oh, okay.
But there's a change in what she says to Helena, and I'm bringing that up. And I'm bringing that up because what we actually saw her say in the show is, "You fear me."
Yeah.
So if she's saying that to Helena, the only thing that she could be talking about is the fact that, it's her technology. Right?
Is that what you think she means by them? Like, could she be talking about the innies?
Well, she says you fear me.
Your work will be remembered as one of the greatest moments of this planet.
That just happened. Let me get that up. I got it though.
Okay, yeah, you got it. You cooked.
I've never added a video before, so I need to figure out how to add it without it playing right away.
Oh, you can't.
Let's see. I can't. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I can't go through it.
Yeah, when you hit it, no, you can't like skim through it either. When you hit it, it's gonna cut our mics off, and they'll only be able to hear the audio from that. So what I do is like I open it up in something and I share it. Sometimes I have to share like one of my screens to get the audio to play too. Make sure you hit the little thing that says play audio.
Okay, let me try that. Let's do a screen share. Okay.
Yeah, I think the change is significant. I think the change is well, one thing that the change tells us, right?
Yeah.
And like Joy says, trailers are put together before things are finished. This happens with movies too, no doubt, right?
Right.
But what it definitely says is that aspect of what she said to them in the script wise was done two different ways. So that means that it has
Yeah.
to be a part of the narrative in some way because they filmed it both ways. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They filmed it with her saying, you fear them, you fear me, right? And they decided to go with you fear me for whatever reason. But the fact that they
Yeah.
have that in there, and the fact that she's saying that to Helena, and Helena's like, we fear no one. Like, you know, we're not afraid of you. It's almost like saying, yeah, I know why you think we fear you. I know you did
Yeah.
stuff, you know.
All right, let's see if the audio shares through. Let me play a little bit and you tell me. Oh, did you hear that?
Mm-mm.
Or did you just see it?
I could see it.
I just heard her say you fear them.
Okay, so she says you fear them. Yes.
It cuts off, so she's like, you don't value them. I think they're trying to make it sound like you don't value them, you fear them, but it almost cuts off. Like, I'll play it one more time. You heard that, right?
Right. So the question
Okay.
would be, why would that be written in two different ways in the script?
Yeah. I'm gonna play it one more time.
I can't hear it. I don't know if they can hear it.
Oh, you can't hear it? Can you guys hear it in the comments?
If they can hear it, I'm fine. That's fine.
Okay. Can't hear. Okay. Sorry guys. I have not shared my screen on here before. But yeah, basically, okay, here's what I saw when I watched it is her mouth is saying me, but they put them over it in the audio.
Oh, really? I didn't catch that.
Yeah. Oh God, I wish I could show the volume. Let me see. Let me try one more way because I have it downloaded as well.
Okay. So
yeah, I'm trying to figure.
You could pull it up and play it on and put it in a screen. Do you have multiple screens?
Yeah.
You can choose one and use the audio from it. It'll work.
Okay, let me try one more time. Sorry, guys, technical difficulties, but it'll be worth it.
Yes,
let's see.
We in here cooking anyway.
Okay.
This is so cool. I actually like being on this side of. I'm gonna send you a link, so that next time we go live again, we got to do this more often.
Yeah, we do.
They love us here.
We do.
And we have such a good conversation around the show for sure.
100%. Okay, so it won't. I'm gonna try one more thing, and then we're gonna. If not, we'll just let it go. Okay. The first time it blasted you. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, let me.
I'll tell you one thing. Okay, send me the link and I'll share it.
Okay, let me.
You can send me the
that
link
to you. Okay, cool. All right, I'll send that to you. You get that up, and I'll read some comments while we get cooking here.
Yeah.
Let me get this to you. You guys are the best. Honestly, this community is seriously so amazing and the best. All right, so I'm gonna read through some comments because I've seen a lot come through. Let me see. We had another. Got to go all the way up here. Let's see what we got. Milchick is literally the definition of overtime work. Yes, he is. Hope he gets overtime. Another important clue is when Irv says sarcastically to Helena, once he knows it's her, I could have frozen to death. It's sarcastic. He knows there's not an actual risk of death. Yeah, he does say that in a very interesting way. He's very scary in that moment, but in a good way. Like I freaking love Irving. We got No Context thinks Ortbo is deep inside Lumen. Yeah, Deechin was on the 100, which is a crazy throwback. I totally forgot about that. It's like a school playground. The kids are outdoors, but still on school grounds. Fair. All right, I'm going to keep reading these comments in a second, but I think Real has it ready.
Yes. Yes, she was in the 100. The 100 was such a good show. It started losing me as seasons went on. I was like, it started getting like real crazy. I was like, wow, this is wild.
I couldn't keep up with it.
Yeah, it was just all over the place. But I love the different. I love the 100 actually, and there were a lot of good actors. I totally forgot Deechin was on that, but here it is. I believe that we can hear it. Hold on, let's see.
This
you hear
planet.
that?
Yep.
You don't value them. You fear them. We
Oh,
fear
no.
one. You fear them. We fear no one.
So she's
You
saying,
fear them.
her mouth is
We
saying
fear
me.
no one.
I thought she said them. I thought she was saying them.
She's definitely saying them.
Okay, we definitely got to do some. We got to pull out the magnifying glasses real quick.
So I think, here's what I think. I think the audio over it is like, it cuts you fear, and then they put her saying them, because the way she says them is the same way. You don't value them, you fear them, because she never says that like in its entirety. She says you don't value them in a different point, and then she says you fear me later. So I think her mouth is saying me, and they put the audio them. But you guys let me know in the comments if you agree or you don't. If you're talking Real, I think you might still be muted.
No, I'm sorry. I'm actually on episode 2. My fault. I was trying to hear Cobell and Helena's discussion.
Yeah, okay. You can you do some detective work there.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up too here. Where I think she says she says them. She says them in the thing, because her lips look different when she says me. Okay. So she does say them in the thing. So they filmed it 2 different ways.
Okay.
And then, right, let's say they didn't film it the 2 different ways, and she says me in the way they filmed it, and they overdubbed it. Why overdub it for the trailer?
Probably because she never said those 2 things. She says you don't value. Did she say you don't value them at a different time? I don't know. Will you play this one more time? I just want to see it played. Okay. I want to roll it back one more time.
You don't value them. You fear them. We fear no one.
Yeah, I guess that does look like her saying them. I don't know. Now I've confused myself.
Hold on, I'm looking again. Yeah, so all right, yeah, I got distant here. I have to find it. They had this discussion is like, oh, okay, here it is. Oh, no, that's not it. Yo, the way Evil Hodor was sitting at the end of that table like that, and he was like making sure that he wasn't looking at them. What do you think about my left ear symbolism theory?
I love it.
Ear to them.
Yeah, I love the theory. I would have never noticed that or thought about it myself, but I love hearing other people talking about it.
Yo, I dropped this video and I talked about the left ear symbolism, and then we did the pregame live before the show. Right after I dropped that video, next thing you know, in that episode, he cuts the left ear off of the melon. And I mean, that's all he cut off of the melon was the left ear.
Interesting.
The left ear symbolism in Rosicrucianism and also Freemasonry, they speak secrets and knowledge that is not to be spoken to outsiders, and they say these things in the left ear. You see,
Oh.
yeah, the presidents do this too. When like you see all of the presidents get together, they do the same thing. You'll see them speaking in the left ear.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
Wow. Okay. I'm
yeah,
gonna have to dive into that a little bit more. That sounds fascinating.
yeah. So
And then
the sonic
I just looked
symbolism.
I just looked it up as well, where it says like the left ear is more tuned to emotional and intuitive information than the right ear, which is supposedly more adept at processing speech and logic. So it's like the different ears are different parts of the brain structure. The left ear is more connected to the right hemisphere, which is like that emotion, music, creativity, or intuition.
You know,
So
and
that's very interesting.
also, I talked about that on my live stream last night, how the left ear is connected to the right hemisphere of the brain. And if you notice when Reigabi was flooding the chip is slightly to the right of the middle of the brain. The chip is placed close to the pineal gland on the right side. Yeah, so it
Interesting.
it's very. And Cobell turns her balance on the dial in her car. She turned the music on and turns the balance to the right, and it looks like she's turning up the volume, but she's actually hitting the balance button. I feel like I'm showing my age with that.
Not at all. Awesome. I'm gonna check in with a couple comments here because we have some good ones cooking.
Yeah,
We got Dylan G says, "Do you believe Lumen killed Hampton, or that we'll see more of Hampton?"
That's a really good question. I'm actually stuck on that episode. I think it was the best. That's my favorite episode now. And it wasn't like that for me at first.
Oh yeah, Sweet Vitriol, right? You didn't love it at first, but then it grew on you.
I didn't love it at first, and then like the second watch, I seen so much symbolism. Like when I was taking my notes on the first watch, I was like, yeah, I noticed this. Oh yeah, this is kind of cool symbolism. And I didn't see it on the first watch. And then just wait. We're gonna revisit that video. I'm gonna do a video revisiting that episode. That is the best episode, hands down, if you like the symbolism kind of thing. But back to the question, that the Lumen pulling up like that, it just didn't. I don't know. Was that even real?
Oh, yeah, because they were high. They were high on ether.
They were high on ether. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is, Whooper says we need to do Twin Peaks. If you're down,
ooh, it's been so long since I've watched it that I would love to do a rewatch.
I have not seen it at all. I've never seen it.
Oh my God, you're gonna love it. You will love Twin Peaks.
I was so into, like, that was when I was really into like production and writing for like other people. Them days.
You'll love it.
Yeah. So yeah, I got to get into that. I'll definitely get into Twin Peaks. But because I have Debbie Ebby Bo Bebby Banana Fana for Bebby the Fee-Fi Momebi, she's here, and she suggested to me to watch that as well. So I'm definitely gonna watch Twin Peaks. The Lumen killing Hampton, that would be crazy. We did see in the outro or the intro credits that Cobell's car was in the water. It looks like Cobell's car. Some people were saying that it's not because the headlights are rounded and, you know, blah blah blah, like details, right? But it looks like her car, right? I think
it's her car.
Yeah, I think it's her car, but then we never saw it go into the water. So how does that happen? I think Hampton might hop in her whip, you know? He's probably like the only one that knows where it is. Like when you think about it, you know, they met up and got in his whip. So then they left. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So she took his joint, but then like all right, so the reason why I don't know if that was real is because where in the hell could they have been coming from? If you look at Sissy's place and her landscape and the landscape, she's like on a peninsula that is called the Nine. And where they were coming from behind her house, it's not even possible to come from a car because there was no road back there. And it was only like, it was the ocean. It was the ocean. So where the hell did the car come from?
Yeah, and I feel like Harmony Cobell was like traveling for days, and they eventually called Sissy, and Sissy told him the truth, but that wasn't until after Harmony had been there. So how were they able to get there so fast?
Yeah, I mean, 200 something miles is a long ass way, yo. And
Yeah.
we seen like, I think it was what, 238 miles or something like that from where she was.
That was just from where she was, not even here, which is crazy,
Right.
unless they
That's
just
not even
have
because she
people.
was driving for what seemed to be a long time before she even reached that sign,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, she pulled up pretty quick though. Where did she get what did she do? Like that whole thing is where I kind of lost time.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like I need to go back. I watched it a couple times, but I need to rewatch it with fresh eyes.
Yeah, right.
All right,
I have to see it again.
we got Mickey B in here saying, I want to know Natalie's backstory. Like, she fell off in the last few episodes, and I want to know how she moved up so high. I love Natalie. I love her so much. I think she's so pretty in general, but I also love her, and I want to know more about her, like a lot. I would love to know her backstory and what she's trying to tell Milchick with her eyes as she gives him the paintings.
What do you think that was about?
I mean, I think it was just this weird, like, what did I call it? It's slipping my mind right now.
Bro, don't end up getting killed.
Yeah, I think she was trying to be like, say
Watch your
you
mouth.
like I think she was trying to be like, I know what you're thinking. Don't say it. Like, don't say what you're thinking.
Yes. That's all I think it was. I don't think she was in solidarity with him at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I think she's kind of like, this is the way that this is. And we don't know. Maybe she was raised from a Wintertide fellow and she's been there since she was a teenager.
Oh, I'm sure.
So she's like, I know these are kind of weird, getting your like cure blackface paintings, but don't say shit about it. Just keep it to yourself.
I'm sure that she was raised in those schools as well. I don't think that you can just apply for Lumen like that.
Yeah, I think you have to be groomed by Lumen, like
Right.
literally from a young age. I don't think you can just walk in unless you're getting severed as like an adult.
Spot. You have to win your spot by your achievements at Lumen.
100%. 100%.
You know, I don't think that, especially like people like Reigabi even.
Yeah.
When she said that Cobell was raised by Lumen, I think she was too.
I think so. I think we might see like where they got to know each other. Maybe they even went to school together.
Yes, maybe she now with knowing that Cobell is the OG of that IP, she pretty much probably was like under Cobell's wing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably one of her understudies. Like she probably was working on her, like, working with her like every day. She, studying the reintegration stuff, and the wand that she uses on Mark is probably very similar to the technology that we see inside of the elevators. Also, that machine that Dr. Peabody had Gemma sitting next to when he was giving her those questions.
Mm-hmm.
That big machine, you know what I'm talking about, that she was sitting next to?
Yeah, it almost looked like
a giant headphone.
Yeah.
It looked like a giant headphone. Like that's probably like some type of technology that they use to monitor the chip.
Yeah.
As well.
I think so.
I'm gonna say one more thing. I wonder if he can put her in that chair and just turn on one of the innies from the other room.
Ooh,
and like
that would be
question them as
interesting.
well. That would be that. I hope that
Yeah.
all right. So that leads me to a question.
Ooh.
Do you
Yeah.
think there are other people on that testing floor?
Yes, I do. There have to be, like, because we saw that blank room that doesn't have a label. I think there, and you and I talked about this on our last stream. You were talking about the pinpricks, right, on the nurse's finger, how
Oh
it looked
yes,
like there was a lot of fresh blood on there.
yes. And she had been taking people to rooms before she got to Gemma that day. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, absolutely.
so there's like, oh, all right. So they have these other test subjects. Dr. Peabody's down there working. You got the nurse lady down there, and now we know that Evil Hodor's blood is accepted in the little system that opens the doors.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm.
I'm
Hmm.
wondering if he an Egan? Is he one of Jane's bastards? Like,
Mr. Peabody or Dr.
no,
Peabody
Doctor.
or
I'm
Drummond?
gonna say Evil Hodor.
I think he could be, because he calls him father with a capital F. And we know that he's spilling his seed around everywhere.
Right. Okay. So spilling his seed. So if Helly now, we didn't get the Cobell's car in the water from the intro sequence. Something else from the intro sequence
Yeah.
we didn't see is Helly going down that testing floor elevator. If Helly goes,
Yes.
because she was inside the testing floor elevator with Gemma in that last part of the intro credit, right?
Yeah, I have a photo of it here. I was really expecting to see that. I'm so surprised we didn't see that. I thought she was going to be the one that
To
got
go
to the
down.
testing floor.
Right,
Yeah.
I thought so too. There it is. That's it. Now, here's the
Let
thing,
me-
right? If Evil Hodor is an Egan, will Helly's blood be able to open those doors? And are we going to start seeing things like that? Are we going?
Oh, yeah, like
Yeah,
blood ties,
blood
and
ties.
what it will take you, like, can different people be accessing different things because they share the seed, they share the
Right.
blood, the DNA is the thing. I wonder even is Gemma an Egan bastard or something like that, because we know they're tracking people with blood. They're picking people out with blood because they show her and Mark at the blood drive. There's I'm going to make a video about this, but there is a lack of parentage in this show, like a pervasive lack of parentage, especially mothers. So you have like, what are the color of your mother's eyes? We don't know anything about Helena's mother. Even Irving finds a picture of his father in his chest, but no picture of his mother. So there's this like lack of parentage, like across the board. Even we know Mark's mother's name was Fern. We know his dad was an alcoholic, but we really don't know much about his parents or anything. So I feel like there is something there about like blood ties and DNA and tracing that back, which we might get into the whole network of Egans running around in the next season.
So there was okay, so that leads to this, right? There's a theory that Mark is an Egan, a bastard Egan or whatever, but his blood wouldn't open the door though. So that if that is the case, if what we're talking about is true, not to say that it is, I'm just saying if what we're saying is true here about Evil Hodor, the father with the capital F, like if this is the case, then Mark isn't an Egan. However, I love the whole idea of Gemma probably being one, there are multiple people being one. The big question is Jane does say that he saw Keir and Helen. But if he has all of these offspring, what made her so special? It makes me question who is her mother. And it makes me say, like, who is her mother? is he married? Was he married to her mother, and that's why?
Yeah, it's like, is she the only legitimate? Yeah, is she the only legitimate child, or is none of his kids legitimate at all? Because
Right?
that would
Yeah,
be,
he's
then
just
there'd
a
have to
rolling
be something
stone.
special. Yeah, then there'd have to be something special about her. If or I don't know, unless Harmony Cobell is her mother, and they got a little freaky while they were inventing Severance together, and he thought that at least Harmony has some big brains in there. And I think Harmony has the spirit of Kier in her. I mean, that lady is fiery. She's a fire woman. So maybe he's like, all right, I'll name you my successor, but I'll still kind of keep the door open to all my other spawn to see if any of them pop in with like better vibes, better potential.
Right. Okay, so if Evil Hodor is an Egan, do you think we'll get a reveal? Well, yeah, I believe that we will get a reveal, but do you think we'll get a funeral?
I could see like Jaime Egan going fucking postal, seeing like his big brawny son being like sliced or shot with a bolt gun and like freaking out. So I could see, like, I feel like that man is about to pop off. Like, first he's throwing a tin of candies, then he's screaming at the computer. I'm waiting for him to just go absolutely ball to the wall nuts. And I feel like finding dead Evil Hodor could be the thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Jaime Egan's life is in danger.
Oh, big time. They have him trapped. They have him cornered in his jerk box.
His life is in danger. I think now I don't think he's in danger in that sense, actually. However,
okay,
in just the story format, his life is in danger because he's got a successor.
Yeah.
So
I guess there's a target on his back.
Where there's like a successor, then the other one is gonna die.
Yeah.
Anytime you got a king with a son, you were gonna see the king die, and we're gonna see the son rise in their place.
Yeah, there's always that threat. Like, you want it's kind of like Succession when they're all kind of waiting for him to die, and for Logan Roy to just kick it because they all want to take over.
They all want to take the spot, right? So, but then Helly doesn't have to worry about that. She's not like in a fight out with anyone else to take the gambit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She's gonna be it when he's dead.
Yeah.
So if anything, he's got to worry about her. Because if we on the severed floor, I think like if Helena is peeping what shit's going down, and I think she's against Lumen. And I think her
I think so.
I think she's working with Milchick.
Ooh, that would be cool.
I think
that would be quite the reveal.
Yeah, I think her and Milchick are working together. That was my other theory about that her intake process possibly being tampered with, possibly could have been Milchick, because she told him, hey, go down there and do something to mess up the intake process so that we have a hard way.
Ooh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's super interesting.
But then you have the whole because she comes out there and she says, my Annie really doesn't want to be down here.
Yeah.
And he
like
said,
she's surprised.
Right. And he was like, well, she's finding out that she does. She's slowly finding out that she does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got you in there. You're with Mark. They couldn't really show us that level of conversation between them because it was later revealed that, yeah, he was in on the Ortbo. Her and Milchick worked on that together.
Yeah, I think that was their brainchild. That was their, like, because he knew that she boinked Mark. He knew that they did it in the tent. Yeah, they marched their mellows in the tent. So he was like in on it. Like, I feel like maybe he gave him some raspberries or some aphrodisiac. Like, I feel like he was there on standby. Like, he knew what was going on in that tent.
Oh, of course. I mean, her laughing at, like you were talking about earlier, her laughing at the Dieter story.
Yeah.
her laughing at the Dieter story. I think that was her cue, like, yo, get out of here, like, be gone.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think that was her cue
definitely.
to him, like, yo, yeah, you know, yeah, throw the marshmallows away so we can marsh our mellows.
Yeah, it's time. Real quick, I want to send a special thank you to Joy Vibe with the super chat. Thank you so much. You and Real have great chemistry. I'm loving the lives, and pretty please do more together. Yeah, I think we need to put this in the calendar, a semi, maybe a couple times a month or at least once a month type thing, because I love these chats and I love the chat. You guys make this amazing. I'm laughing so hard. Whoever said James Egan crash out has me just geeking over here. You guys are so funny.
Yes, this is the best community on TV. The Severance community,
absolutely.
there's nothing like it. You know,
Yeah.
you got your
One
Game of
interesting
Thrones
thing that
community. They're like they're crazy.
they're
the Game of
hardcore.
Thrones
I mean,
people, yo.
I don't like to mess with the fan. I love Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. I don't like to mess with the fandoms because they're unforgiving. They're not very nice. No offense.
No, they don't give a shit about you. They only care about the material.
Yeah. Couple comments here. John said this is back at the left ear theory, but I thought this was interesting. He gets the left ear and immediately understood the connection between Irv's final words and the poster. So when he's eating that left ear, he's making that connection. And that's like the left ear being the access to like intuition and the right brain and creativity. So I love that. That's super interesting.
I love this theme with Dylan. Not to cut us off, going through.
No, you're fine.
But I love the scene with Dylan writing to his innie.
I loved that. I kind of did this like stacking of which people are the best towards their innie. Obviously, you have Helena at the bottom who treats her innie like an animal, like shit. And then you have Mark who's like, he's just kind of using him. It's all kind of a front, but he's still a little better than Helena. And then you have Dylan where it's like he and his innie are freaking homies. It's amazing to see.
And they messing with the same chick.
Yeah. He's like, we know she's fine. Like we're like, they can agree on that. They're like, yeah, okay. I see. We both, we got a hot wife.
Yeah. Like here it is, is Dylan gonna tell Gretchen to go back down and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, here's what I think. I had this theory in my last video is that Gretchen is a police officer in the province of Kier. So you might think that Lumen might be able to pull some strings with her. And I actually think that she's going to be like a hostage negotiator because she's the only one who can get through to Dylan. Like his love for her is the only thing that's greater for his hatred of Mr. Milchick. So I think the innies are going to barricade the severed floor and she's going to have to play the interim and maybe he'll like double cross or Judas his friends because there's this like idea of her because he's obsessed with her. And I could really see her like being integral to trying to like liaise between the innies who are barricading, holding the floor and the outside world.
As much as I'd like to see that kind of connectivity and interconnectivity, they have the Glasgow Block Protocol.
But they don't have access to the security room if it's on the severed floor.
Well, we don't know that. For sure they moved it.
That's true. Yeah, we don't know for sure. We know they've moved it, but we know that
what
at
we
least
do know
from
is that whoever Milchick was talking to on that walkie, you know what I mean, was in the security room somewhere. I would love to see all those interconnecting parts. And I would love to see if they are actually barricaded away from the control room, the security room. That would be so fire. I saw something about the last comment. J Vic said something about me writing a dope Severance song. Yes.
Yeah.
I would love. I feel like each one of my videos are dope Severance songs for real. Like, but I'm definitely working on it. I want to I
Yeah.
want to wrap my mind around an idea. I don't want it to be corny. I want it to be something you can listen to even if you've never seen Severance. I might make a song, right? A regular song with a bunch of Severance humor references in it that if a person that does watch Severance hears it, they would be like, oh shit. So that I might
Yeah.
do something like that.
That would be awesome. Definitely will be here. We also have Golden Child who said Dylan is the closest to his outie because he was the only innie that did the severance for unselfish reasons to provide for his family rather than to like escape something. Love that.
My brother Golden Child be spitting heat every time.
Yeah.
Like, yo, every time. That is
Yeah.
crazy right there.
That's some good
I
stuff
never
right
even
there.
thought about that. His motivation is entirely different.
Yeah.
His motivation
'cause-
is totally unselfish. And people, and you know, Outie Dylan gets a lot of shit, but you know, any Dylan doesn't have to worry about bills, doesn't have to worry about children, doesn't have to worry about real life and shit. Like he just has to essentially play on the computer for 8 hours.
Exactly.
You know,
Gonna go in there, play some computer games.
You know, I'm team Outie Dylan. You know what I mean? I want to know why he was crying on the couch.
Oh, when Outie Dylan?
Outie Dylan was sitting on the couch and Gretchen was getting ready to leave. He was crying. There's a tear in his face.
Oh yeah, I remember. I think you kind of catching that detail, but we never really found out why or what was going on.
I think that. Well, I'm not even gonna go there. I'm gonna let it go until season 3 comes back. Y'all know if you know about the Milchick, the Jim Milchick connection to Dylan, then you know. We'll see. I know a lot of people was like, it's not gonna pan out, but I think Milchick and Gretchen might have been messing around a little bit.
Ooh. What do we think, guys? I mean, we know she's not happy at home.
and we know she's like on a happy first name basis with him.
Yeah. Like, oh Seth.
Yeah, she's like, oh Seth.
We got a repost in here from Roll Cake saying, I think Irving was deputy manager before Milchick. Explains how he knows about the exports hall. When he severed, obviously his innie wouldn't know. When he severed. Oh, okay. Interesting. So you think that he also worked at Lumen like Burt before getting severed, just like Burt?
Well, yeah, he did. We do know that he'd only been severed for 3 years, been working there for 8 years.
Yeah.
So because he was the senior refiner.
Yeah, he had been there for, I forget, other people were doing the calculations.
It might be 5 years and 3 years unsevered and 5 years severed, one of them. But yeah, he definitely was working for Lumen before he got severed.
Ooh, and that's same with Burt as well, who was also like their hitman.
Yeah,
and then
I don't think Burt got severed. I don't think he got severed. I think he was saying that just for his husband.
Yeah, interesting. Well, because there are a lot of weird, and I'll be talking about this in my reviews, there are a lot of weird clues of Burt being weird. Like one time he's just in the conference room randomly, and Irving's like, why are you in the conference room? And Burt is like, oh, I was looking for you. I don't know. And you can tell he's lying about something. Like something is off with any Burt.
Yes. Any Burt, at that party, the retirement party, he seems that video was so funny. It was hilarious. It was like, you know, he was like, yes, I'm sure all of you are fine down there. Even though I've never seen any of you, I'm pretty sure you are. Anyway, like that was hilarious. Like, but it was the face that Burt was making down there at the party. It lets me know that he was definitely Outie Burt, so to speak. That wasn't any.
Yeah, totally.
Milchick seems to be under Burt. Burt
Yeah,
seems to be a
yeah.
higher up than Milchick is.
Definitely. Yeah, I think so.
The way he
And
was able to just calm Milchick down, because Milchick was about to send Irv's ass back to MDR. But he was like, Burt put his hand out and touched Milchick and was like, no, let him stay. He'll be fine. I'll make sure he doesn't say anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. And Roll Cake, you're right here. There's like literally no way he would know what that exports hall looks like at all. There's no way if he is just an innie. And how would his outie know? Like, there's no way that they've, like, his innie, even if his innie saw it, he wouldn't think to transfer it to his outie.
Or somebody could have told him about it. Somebody could have either told him or showed him a picture. That's the only thing that I could think of.
Yeah, well, because, okay, do you remember when Reigabi is trying to reintegrate Mark and he's getting those flashes and she's like, what did you see? Did you see a black hallway or a dark hallway? Are you looking at a black, like, she went right to the exports hall. So I kind of wonder if Reigabi and Irving and these people are working together to get to that hallway, and they're trying different ways, where maybe Irving was shown a picture and he's trying to paint it to show his innie, and Reigabi's trying to reintegrate innies, reintegrate outies into their innies, because she was like very demanding of him, like, where's the dark hallway? And they had never talked about it before.
And also, I think that she may have even been down with Severance. I mean, she's the one that put the chip in Mark's head.
Yeah,
like,
she probably was.
So, but then when she found out what they were doing on the testing floor, she was like, yo, this shit is wild. And this is why she says that the last time she saw Gemma, she was alive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And yeah.
Then it changes from that to, yes, Gemma's alive down there. She says that to Devin. So it's like Reigabi,
like, she knows,
also is getting like information, it seems like, from somewhere.
Yeah.
Because she knew about the OTC. She knew that Mark was searching on his computer about how to contact his innie.
Well, but didn't she sneak up on him while he was doing it?
Yeah, but how does she know that the computer is where he got that from?
I just wonder if it was just like such a stupid idea that like a lot of people have thought about it before or something. Like, that's that's like one of the dumbest things people can do.
Maybe on the internet, in that world, people talk about that kind of stuff, like how to trip Severance or stuff like that.
Yeah, or if that's like kind of this like low budget strategy for it.
Yeah, I can imagine if like Severance was a real thing that was actually being offered and stuff to people in our world. I can just imagine the Reddit threads. Yeah.
We got Reigabi eats frosting straight from the carton. I don't trust her. You've never done that before? Only if it's chocolate.
Yo, I'm trying to tell you, that was something else with her eating the frosting. She craves sweets a lot.
Yeah.
Like eggnog. Eggnog is very thick and rich and sweet. You know.
Yeah.
Also, that was a part of the egg symbolism. In The Last of Us, Ellie disposes of an infected by the dairy and eggs section in the market. Yeah. So, you know, that's why I said infected, you know, not to spoil anything, but we know they're killing zombies, so it's not much of a big spoiler. But she kills a zombie by the dairy and egg section in the market.
Ooh,
that was fire. You know?
Yeah, I haven't started. It's weird. She has this penchant for eggnog, and Mark even says like, I don't think it's in season. So we know homegirl is drinking. Well, but except I saw this this thing that eggnog was actually like a cure back in the day, like an old timey cure. Someone commented that on one of my videos, or it was like this. Yeah. I don't know. It was like this
Golden
old.
Child said, "Pause, real. I don't even know what I said. I don't know what I said, boy." Bro called me.
What?
What did I
What did
say?
he say? Oh, because probably like Last of Us spoilers that they don't want any. I don't know.
No, it's something else. Especially with the exclamation point. I know.
All right, Golden Child, tell us.
Golden Child. He'll say it and then put pause in there for himself. Yo, nutmeg is in eggnog. Maybe Gemma was sneezing after Reigabi because she's allergic to nutmeg. Ooh.
Oh, interesting. Oh, when
But
you were
know-
talking about creamy chocolate.
Pause. Golden Child, come on, man.
You guys are silly.
Yo,
You're a
the
silly
pause
goose.
game is funny. Where did Roke says, where did Reigabi even go? I know. She's another unresolved thing.
Yeah.
For me.
She's
another,
got to come back.
Yeah, she's another unresolved situation. I like the fact that we got more Reigabi in season 2 though, because she was just like season 1, she was, here and there, but she was very important, but we didn't really get much of her. You know what I'm saying?
But I just want to feel like she's more than just this catalyst that brought Mark closer to Cobell, because it's like they turned to Cobell because they didn't have any other options because Reigabi walked out on them. But I mean, like, I feel like I thought that her determination to reintegrate and take Lumen down would have superseded her being like, oh, you said Cobell, I'm out of here. Goodbye. This is where I stop. So that's the only point of confusion for me that I wanted wrapped up.
Dieter spilled his eggnog in the forest. Yo, I know Dieter spilled his reintegration fluid in
the reintegration juice.
Yeah, I have to agree with Mickey B 100%. Now that we've gotten Cobell's backstory, we need Natalie's backstory, and we need Reigabi's backstory. Evil Hodor, they don't have to give us a backstory, but what I would like to see is a funeral, and I would love to see more 4 temper tattoos on some new characters.
Yeah, I want to see who has the like industry tattoo or some of the other values.
Right. He had Frolic. I want to see who has the malice tattoo. Like, I want to see if there are any.
Yeah.
What was that tattoo on his hand about? Losing Evil Hodor was great on the show, right? However, he had so much mystery that I feel like they just kind of didn't give us. I mean, them showing us his tattoo at the diner when he was spying on Devin and Mark and all that. I mean, we needed a little bit more before we lost him. So hopefully he gets some kind of respect.
Right.
And then we learn more through it. I don't need a flashback. I don't need a backstory. Move forward with kind of telling us who he was. Show us others. Let us get some more. If he's a bastard child, let us get some more bastard children that are down with Lumen and ready to swing arms. Like Evil Hodor was a dope ass character. And then the fight with him and Mark and Brienne of Tarth, like, what? That was the energy we needed for this season. This show has been great as is, right? But it was missing kind of that action element. I mean, the only action that we got was Reigabi taking out Grainer, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That scene was the dope that we needed right there. Like,
that was so high octane, amazing. It was awesome. Also, Debbie, you read my mind here. I'm like, is that Frolic tattoo on his left hand, on his no hand, to remind him not to be spilling eggnog? You're crazy.
Yes.
That's so funny.
It might be on that hand to stop him from doing that entirely.
Yeah, because I have this thought that like here Egan is asex, like he doesn't like the idea of sex, and that's why like when he let Dieter Egan die, that was his sexual side. I think it was Kier that was spilling his seed all over the forest, and I think like he had this transcendental monk-like experience where he like killed that hedonistic sexual part of him, and I think maybe he thinks his followers should like it's almost like a vow of chastity. You get frolic on your no hand. And
did you ever see the Silence of the Lambs?
No.
Okay. If anybody
I'm a
knows,
scaredy cat.
If y'all saw if anybody out there saw Silence of the Lambs, y'all know exactly what part I'm talking about. I don't even have to say it, but you know exactly what part I'm talking about. That's all I thought about when they talked about Dieter in the forest, spilling the seed.
I'm scared. I wonder what I'll have to watch. I'll have to watch it.
So why is Jane going wrong with everyone?
Raw eggs.
My goodness. Oh my goodness. He spots him in that little room right there.
Yeah. Ugh. He's gross. He's so gross. I have a wait, let's see. Yeah. Well, that's a pretty bad picture, but yeah, so question for I don't want to look at this for that much longer. I just wanted to put it up there. I'll take that away. That's the last thing you see before he severs you. Anyway, so I have a question for you, Real, which is you guys are cracking me up. I'm
over here checking out the comments. I am going crazy over here.
We're all very immature.
Put the lotion in the basket.
And I don't even know what that's pertaining to, but I imagine it's
Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah. All right, so my question for you, Real, is how much time do you think has passed between like episode 1 of Mark meeting Petey for the first time at that diner and the end of season 2?
How much time has passed from then to the end of season 2?
From the beginning of season 1, when Petey's coming and sitting across from Mark at the diner telling him things, and Helly's first day on the job, and the end of season 2. Do you have any thoughts?
Let me think about this for a second. I have some theories about time here as well.
Okay, awesome.
But that's another discussion. But I think it's maybe a few months at the most.
Yeah.
Maybe at the most a few months.
Yeah.
They did kind of go, it could be about 9 months. That would be fire somewhere up in there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's been that long. I mean, it could very well be, but it feels like in the first season, there's a lot of momentum about Helly not wanting to be there. Like, I think between her starting to her trying to like hang herself is probably a couple of weeks, like max. And then I think like, because her presence, there's so much momentum of her being like, I don't want to be here, and OTC. I think that season 1 was over just a couple of weeks, and I think season 2 has only been over a few weeks. So I really think it's only been like a month and a half max.
Yeah, because the season 2 jumps right off after the OTC. Like,
yeah, exactly.
And then they're, pretty much trying to get, they lie about 5 months going by. Well, Milchick does.
Yeah.
And no context hit it right on the head. There are at least 2 timelines here.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get into that. I feel like I'm one of those kind of theorists where if it doesn't have a certain amount of information, then I won't talk about it in a video. But I'll speak about it on the live streams and stuff like that. But I want to get my thoughts
Okay.
together. Like, you got to think, right?
Yeah.
When you look at Mark in the first season, we see he's drinking a lot and stuff like that. In the second season, he didn't drink at all.
Yeah.
Right? And the second season seemed more linear to me once they cleared up Milchick's lie about it being 5 months going by.
Yeah.
It was obvious that it wasn't 5 months going by, being that he was just now moving in his shit into the office.
Right.
This was right after.
This was overnight.
Right.
Yeah.
This was just a couple of days later. He's been busy firing the wrong people. And then
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
because he says he had 48 hours. Like when he was talking to Drummond, he's like, I only had 48 hours to put this together.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
I think,
and then that following day, okay, so after, you got to think, Mark is totally oblivious to what's going on down there with the replacement refiners. He doesn't know anything about his job. So he went, so that happened when he went back. What? I think that was 2 or 3 days, right? It was 3 days actually. So it was 3 days, and on that third day, he tried to get old boy. He is discovered about the letter that he wrote about Mark W.
Yeah.
Then that is the day that he goes and runs and talks to the board and tells them, hey, bring him back. The very next day, they bring him back. Right after it happens, Mark is sent away. Milchick goes upstairs. The other 3 refiners are still downstairs. Milchick goes upstairs, they're still there. Takes the tape upstairs and sits down with Evil Hodor and Helena.
Right.
And plays the tape of Mark and what he said and everything. Evil Hodor is like, yeah, we gotta get him to go back down. The board says that we have to give him what he wants.
Right.
The board says give him what he wants. So if the board is saying give him what he wants, then so Evil Hodor, Milchick, and Helena were in on the plan to send Helena down there posing as Helly. So they were in on that. So then we see her. She's doing her research on how Helly, what's going on, and trying to look and see. I'm sure she reviewed a bunch of tapes and looked at a bunch of stuff, right? And then she goes down there. Yeah. So then everything else was like day by day. Yeah. Everything else was day by, everything else was like day after day. Then they just did the Orc Bow, which I think they left Evil Hodor out of that, because Helly calls them animals, but she just marshmallows with one of them. So I just think that he didn't know. Yeah,
I want to know how many people know about that.
Right.
Maybe it's just her and Milchick.
It's just her and Milchick. That's it. So I think that Milchick or Cobell is a really good candidate for whoever crossed out the word last and put final on Helly's intake process.
Ooh, yes, yeah. That's such a good connection. So interesting. Yeah, I think there's definitely like some time thing going on. I've thought about that a lot. Like that time moves differently on the severed floor for sure. I mean, because we have Mark's watch and just there's just a lot going on.
There was also an indiscrepancy with time when Milchick came down and told Mark that he knew that Mark smashed Helly in the tent, right? Because Hodor said that you're going to be here for 4 to 6 hours or something like that. Or that part right there. Because they talk about lunch. If it's more than 4 hours, they order lunch. And we know Milchick went up there around like 10 p.m. If you look on, actually, no. If you look at the like 1 p.m.
1 p.m. If you look at the clock, it says 1 something. but then he's back down at like even before 5 because Mark S was leaving early. So that would have only taken 3 hours, but it was supposed to take more than 4 because Evil Hodor passed him the lunch menu.
Right. So like, how did he make it?
It doesn't
down
add
there
up.
in time
The
enough to see
outside
Mark, though?
time. Yeah, the outside time and the inside time don't add up.
The only thing that and he changed clothes. He had on
Yeah, he
different
was wearing
clothes.
something different. Yeah.
So the only thing that I'm thinking about here is possibly during the lunch, he just said, "Screw lunch, I'm gonna go downstairs real quick."
And change again because he was
And
wearing
change,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
He was wearing in the afternoon the same outfit he was wearing in the morning, and then he changed in the middle of the day for his performance review in like a suit, which I don't know, maybe he had to be more formal.
And then at the end of the review, when they gave him all the notes and stuff like that, he was wearing the same thing that he had on when he saw Mark.
Yeah. That's something's
so
off. Something's
Something
off.
was off with that episode. Something threw us
Yeah.
off with that episode. I don't know
Yeah.
what that could even mean, but time is kind of funny. Time is
Yeah,
definitely
it's-
funny. I wonder if they reveal something like, yo, a whole year's gone by or some old wild shit like that.
That would be crazy. Yeah, because Debbie brings up a good point. Like in season 1, episode 1, when Mark puts his watch in the tray, it says like the 4th of the day, and then when he comes out at the end of the day, it says the 5th. And there's all this there's all this thing about like Devin shows up at his house, and she's like, "Oh, you forgot about the party we have." And then Miss Selvig is always calling about the trash cans and what day they need to go out. So it almost feels like they're losing track of the days, or days are being skipped or something. But
also, the Ortbo shows a discrepancy in time. When they explained the next day, it shows Mark getting ready in the morning. He's taking those pills. He's taking the reintegration fluid, stuff like that. And he's talking to Devin, and he says that he went on a week. She said, "How'd that weekend thing go?"
Yeah.
Right. But we know that the Ortbo got cut short.
Yeah.
Because they only.
Because weren't they supposed to have 48 hours? That was like the original
to be there
thing
for the whole weekend. But he says he woke up wet and stuff, and he didn't. And he's like getting ready for work, like Monday morning type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So they were only there for like 24 hours.
Yeah, they didn't do
48.
the whole weekend. And so what's up with that? Like, how do they, what happened? And then how do they transport them all the way out there on the ice like that if they're really out there?
Yeah. I think, I hope we get a good answer for this, because this has been driving me crazy.
Yeah, what is it with time in this thing here? What would be the reason to mess around with that?
I don't know. Yeah, because the why behind it is confusing to me. Like, it's either they're trying to like squeeze more productive hours out of people, or I don't know. Because I mean, even when PD talks with Mark, which is understandable, he's like the relativity is fucked, like of his reintegration, where he's like, my 8th birthday feels just as far away as my first day of work. And I mean, that's understandable because that's like the relative lifetime of his innie compared to his outie, and those memories are like kind of stacking relatively to each other, but it's still like there's still something off about time.
Yeah, there's definitely they're definitely trying to tell us that something's off with the time, but why would they be doing that? I don't know. I think that one thing that I thought that was a beautiful revelation was them making more innies out of Gemma. Right? They're really good at
that was a great
throwing
reveal.
something in there that you would not even think. Because
I don't know if anyone called that.
I didn't catch that one, and I had no idea that that's what they would have been doing. Each refiner has created an innie on this girl's chip.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That's
because
crazy.
The crib is Mark's experience.
But didn't Mark refine all of her innies, all of her files?
Not all of them. Some He did Allentown. He did Cold Harbor. But I think Dylan did one of the other rooms. Somebody else.
Tumwater. Yeah, Dylan did
Tumwater.
Tumwater. Yeah.
So yeah, there were, they're creating these innies in her chip. That was a crazy reveal. Like that
Yeah,
right
I loved
there, I
that.
totally didn't see coming. The craziest reveal that we're so comfortable with and we feel like we've known all along was Helly being an Egan. That was that I didn't see that coming in season 1. I didn't see that coming in season 1.
I could never have predicted that.
That one was one of the greatest reveals on television for me.
Yeah, I loved that. That was like 10 out of 10 for me.
I was like, what? And it made me automatically think about her punishment in the break room, the way Milchick was talking to her like she was like the orientation thing when he's just walking around talking to her before she severed. And I was like, man, I totally did not see that one coming. I hope they give us something like that for the time explanation thing. Like,
I hope we get some huge reveal that we never saw coming.
Yeah. And that was so unique and original.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Another one they gave us was Cobell being the OG of the Severance technology. That was
I don't know if
crazy.
anyone, I definitely not in my wildest dreams called that. That was insane.
It all made sense after the fact, but I totally did not see that shit coming.
That came out of that was a complete curveball in the best way.
It totally gave me her rhyme and reason for why she was so observant of what was going on with Mark and Gemma. I was like, okay, now it makes sense why she's
like fully invested, fully.
Right. And it makes sense on why she was fighting to be put back on the severed floor. Like, because really, I mean, that's kind of a shitty job. Like, why did she want to do that? Like that's they were gonna give you your own department and stuff, and they would have probably killed her.
Yeah. 100%.
If she would have went to this new place, they would have probably killed her anyway. I think
that was next for her, and I think she knows.
Yeah, her life is in danger.
100%. I can't wait to see what's next for Harmony, and I think she's gonna double cross them eventually.
Oh yeah, I think she already has by just telling him to complete the Cold Harbor.
Yeah.
I would have expected her to tell them to stall.
Yeah. Yeah. I think she's still got some skin in the game. I don't think she's all anti Lumen. I mean, or she's anti, I guess, Jame, but I think she still loves Kier because she's been raised on it.
Yes. And now we're realizing that this picture that you have up right here, that is Miss Cobell and Devin with any mark.
And yeah, that's so true. Honestly,
because they're not at odds with each other. The two women are not. They're both.
Yeah.
He's the whipping boy.
Yeah. 100%. That's so funny. I didn't think about it like that. I love that.
We talked about that in the live stream. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting who it was. We got some real dope people in the building. We got the Grouch in the building. Food.
Yeah.
Debbie Bo Bebby. We got Mickey B. We got Dawn. We got Aaron. We got Rock Road. We got Mark Bauer in the building. Oh man, we got some fire people.
We got some
Big
smarties.
John Cook. You know what I'm saying? We got Golden Child is here with us.
Golden Child.
We got Roll Kate. Who else we got? We got No Context. Yes. If I'm not seeing you, I still love you. We got Scotty in the building. Scotty Saturn had me rolling earlier. Put the lotion in the bucket. He said put the lotion in the bucket, but the line is put the lotion in the basket. Yo.
Oh.
But that's not even what I was talking about. Silence
Oh
of
my
the
God.
Lamb.
I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yeah, we just keep in mind that we were talking about the Dieter spilling his seed thing, and
Okay,
so
I'm sure it will come to me when I
yeah,
see it. I'm sure I'll be like, oh, that's exactly what we were talking about.
yes, yes. Shout out to everybody here. This is a dope
Yeah, I think
stream.
this is
If you,
two really awesome people coming together, two great
yeah,
communities.
I'm gonna tell you something. Our streams, right? The two that we've done in this one right here, the one we've done in this one right here. If you just watch Severance for the first time and you're getting through with season 2 and you find these two live streams right here, oh man, your brain is gonna be everywhere, exploding all over the place. Like, man, I didn't even think of that.
Struck
Man,
gold.
like, yo, yeah, definitely. Not to take nothing
100%.
away from any of the other creators, they're really dope, but yo, our streams are real fire. I love it. You got what?
Yeah.
What are some of your questions for season 2? Like, what are your what did it leave you questioning? Like, what did it leave you saying? Like, man, what is this? Or what did that mean when they did this? They didn't really make that clear enough. Or
Yeah, I think like I'm still just wondering about Lumen's bigger goal. Like I still think it could go a lot of different ways, because a lot of people have been talking about like uploaded consciousness and resurrecting Kier, and I don't necessarily even think they're doing that. So I think there's just this big hovering mystery of like, what is Lumen trying to do?
okay, my question was, how were they gonna kill Gemma?
Ooh,
If
okay.
she was okay, so like if he finishes Cold Harbor, then she's dead. Like, how? What were they gonna do?
Because I think they would take the chip out of her brain, because that contains all the innies.
Okay.
And that would kill her, because like the process is irreversible, like unless you reintegrate somehow. Because I think if you just drag the chip out because it has those hooks, you'll die.
We talked about
That's at least. Yeah, that's at
talked
least what I
about
was
that.
thinking, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
How will Seth feel when he finds out Drummond died? Dylan G, that is a great question. That was one of my things too. And then after I thought that, he was actually the first person that I questioned, how would he feel about Drummond dying?
Yeah.
And then I thought about Jane, Egan, and then I thought about Helena. How would she feel? Like, because they could easily do a glass glow block on her. And if I don't even think that's Helly. People say she confirmed it. She confirmed that it is Helly, but she could not be telling the truth, because Ben Stiller didn't tell the truth. He said that the blue balloons were going to be very important in the finale, and they weren't.
Oh yeah, the little misdirection there.
He totally said that.
They definitely do misdirection for sure. I think they
Yeah.
try to lead us astray sometimes.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, so that right there, that was the first thing I thought. I was like, man, how is Seth going to feel? Because he didn't really like Drummond all like that. And then how is he even going to feel about Mark, being that Mark is the one that took him out? Is that what's going to be?
I can't wait.
You know what I'm saying?
maybe because he hated Drummond and Mark took him out, maybe that will be what they need for Milchick to come to their side.
Yes. And he takes him to the security room and says, here, barricade this room. Keep him out of this room. This is the new security room. I mean, Milchick's got the
station some guards on the outside of the real security room. He would be such an asset.
Right.
Yeah.
So they got the band. You know what I'm saying? They got a whole squad. He could like help them set up. That could be a real turning point / turn up moment for real, if they really wanted to go crazy. Because
I'm excited
here,
for that.
Season 3, episode 1 has got to be lit, because
it's gotta reel you right in.
Yeah, where we left off in season 2 in the finale, you can't start season 3 and it just be slow.
No, it has to jump right in. It has to be exciting for action.
It's got to be lit. Like, I'm talking about, it's got to be a bonfire. It's
Yeah,
absolutely got to go crazy.
100%.
You
I'm
know
so
what I'm saying?
excited. Yeah,
So
I can't wait. I think we
no,
need another live stream of just like season 3 predictions of what's going to happen in season 3.
that's what we'll talk about on our next live stream. We have to talk
Yeah.
about season 3 predictions, what's gonna happen. We'll do another live stream. We'll talk about some topics and things in the meantime.
Yeah,
We'll
100%.
talk about some topics, keep in touch, talk about some topics. I know we've been
Yeah.
rocking out for like 2 hours.
Yep. I have to hop soon because I gotta go eat dinner or I'll pass out. I'm looking at these eggs. I'm like, oh my God, these eggs look so good. Why do they look so good? I'm like, oh, I'm starving. That's why.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we should plan some more topics to dive into, some specific topics for season 3. And if you guys have any suggestions as well, go ahead and either head over to Real's channel or mine or our Patreons or our Discords and send those over so we have some other good chunks, because I feel like we could go on and on for so long. Like there's still so many things to talk about.
Oh,
and yeah, I need to catch up on your Muppet theory.
Yes. There's the live stream that we did last night, and a couple live streams before then. We had Exist, Brother Rick Rock come through and drop the Muppet
cool
stuff. And
awesome.
Those live streams are great. I think you will enjoy those. They're extremely funny as well.
I love the humor. I love all y'all's sense of humor. It's like definitely my sense of humor.
I'm talking about it. That was the one. The first Muppet one was the one that I was literally crying real tears. Like,
okay, the one from last night or the first Muppet one?
I think.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and watch that.
I think I actually went and put the name in there, like Muppet Theory. I think I edited the name and everything. So it is, I'm talking about.
Okay, everyone go check that out. I'm going to go check that out too.
I got to tell you the story real quick before we go.
Yeah.
I know you're hungry. You know what I'm saying?
Let's hear it.
At the eggs.
I know. I'm going to change the background.
This guy was in the chat and he was trying to, he was telling me that my sound was off. He was telling me that he couldn't hear me and my sound was messed up. And I asked the chat, I said, is my sound good? Does everybody hear me? And everybody was like, no, you're perfect. Everything's good. And there's nothing wrong. And then like about 15 minutes goes by. And he's like, your sound sucks. I'm unsubscribing. I'm unsubbing. And I was like, yo, bro, this guy said he's unsubbing and all of that. And I'm sure he couldn't hear me talking about him, but we started laughing. And somebody said he threw a tin of candies.
Sounds like he did. And his name was Seth?
And his name, yes, that was it. His name was Seth Flicks. Yes.
Seth Flicks.
His name was Seth
Flicks. Okay, we just
Milchick.
doxed this guy. Seth Flicks Milchick.
Yo.
I'm gonna need to go watch that that live tonight so I can go listen to that exact part.
Yo, everybody, we was in tears. Yo, that shit was
so
hilarious.
Funny.
Oh my God, his name was Seth. That was hilarious.
Seth Flicks.
And then I played the do it, Seth. I played that.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna need to watch that because you guys are I need to go be there for that moment with this guy going crazy.
Then he said, "This is shite."
So he must be Scottish or something.
Yo, yeah, he called my stream shite. He crashed out. Yo, it was crazy.
Oh, I love a good crash out. I'm gonna go watch that.
Yo, that was hilarious. Yo, so you gotta go watch that one right there.
Amazing. Yes. I'm gonna play that in the background tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining.
So great. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You have such nice furniture in here. It is so comfortable in here. The refreshments are the bomb.
It's so
You know?
cozy. Thank you all for joining, whether you came from Real's channel or mine. Make sure you go subscribe to him if you're not. And we're gonna have to come back in a couple weeks, sooner than later, because I have so much fun on these, so we have a lot more to talk about.
Okay, I call my live streams wellness sessions. What do you call yours?
Yeah. I've never had a name for them. I would call them like cozy chats or something, because I feel like we're all just cozy, good vibes, chatting.
For Severance, you're on the West Coast, so it's a little earlier than it is over here. It's like 9:24.
Yeah.
I think we should call yours Waffle Party.
Yes. Okay. Waffle party. This is the waffle party.
You think Waffle Party's good? I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
Think on it for a second. But yeah.
I like it because when Severance was coming out, I used to drop my theory videos on Wednesdays, and it would be Waffle Party Wednesdays. So it's already been in my canon. So I think Waffle Party is a great option.
Bet. Because next time I'm coming with snacks and everything, I'm chilling. Like, yeah.
I'm gonna bring some snacks. Sometimes I have wine as well with me, and we all just chat and hang out. Miscellaneous meetings.
My wife usually brings me some hot tea, and
Ooh,
I
that.
had walked downstairs with my cup already, so she didn't bring it this time. But like my wife, my chat goes Miss Real's tea, so I think I'm gonna do some merch, Miss Real's tea.
Love it. Okay,
Yeah.
I love that. Wine and Waffle Wednesday. Yeah, I love that. I love wine. I love waffles. So we'll do that. But yeah, thank you to everyone who made me laugh so much and who came through in the chat. This was so much fun, and I can't wait to do it again soon.
Yes. Hold on. What's the Orboss in me? Oh yeah, you did a poll and everything. You got like 100 and something votes. Let's get out of here. Go get you something to eat, sis. We could talk for hours about this show that is so great that we all love.
I'm going to go eat, but keep the comments coming. Keep them coming through, and you guys are amazing. So we'll talk soon. We'll plan the next one a little more in advance so we can get it on. Thanks. James said, bro, you made my Thursday. Appreciate you both. Roll Cake, thanks for being in here. Debbie, you're so funny. Thank you for making us laugh the whole time. Y'all are so awesome.
Yes. Lauren said this was excellent.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you next time. Go have some dinner if you're on the West Coast, or go to bed if you're on the East Coast, and we'll chat soon.
Yes. Peace.
All right. Take care. Bye, guys. Don't get severed.